Hello lovely people, welcome to a new coloring tutorial. My name is Agota, I'm an illustrator and happy colorist. In this tutorial, I will show you two methods on how to color your background with watercolor, using that watercolor layer as a base for your colored pencils. If you haven't seen my video with the reasons why you should try out watercolor as a base for your coloring, check it out. Before showing you the two methods of painting your background, let's see what materials you will need. First of all, of course, your coloring page printed on a paper suitable for watercolor painting. You will need your watercolors, a round pointed brush, 2 jars of clean water, and a paper towel or paper tissue. Having 2 jars of water is essential. In one jar, you will clean your brush filled with color. That will be your dirty jar. The water in the other jar must be always clean. In that, you will clean your brush once again and pick up some clean water. It is important to always have a clean brush before picking up some new color from your palette to keep your colors bright and saturated. Use your paper towel to dry your brush or get rid of some excess water. So now let's jump into the first method, the wet on wet technique. This is a basic watercolor technique, and it means that you generously wet your paper with clean water. Then you mix your color with enough water and apply it to the wet surface. The color will spread beautifully, and you can also give it a little help with your brush. And of course, if you need, add more color or other colors too. Though with this technique you can have very little control over the outcome, and you have to move quite fast so that your wet surface doesn't dry before adding your wet colors. If this method seems to be complicated and you think you need something slower, don't give up on watercolor. There is a method for you too. I prefer this second method to color my tiny illustrations because they are so tiny, and you will see this method is more suitable for this. So method number 2. The wet on dry technique. And yes, you've guessed it. We will skip the wet your paper part. Dilute your color with enough water, not too much. Start painting your background close to your object. Then go and clean your brush, pick up some clean water, and fade out your color like this. To fade it further, repeat. Clean your brush, pick up some clean water, fade out the edges. You can also create gradients by fading out your color with another one. Here's another tip. If you want to pick up some color from your paper, simply clean your brush, dry it on a paper towel, and pick up the excess color. The brush being dry will absorb the watercolor. You can also use this method to correct mistakes. A little practice and you are an expert at coloring your backgrounds with watercolor. And you can use this wet on dry technique also to paint your tiny elements on your coloring page. But always wait for your background to completely dry first. If your elements are too tiny, make sure you don't use too much water. There you can also use the fading out method with a clean, wet brush. If you prefer, you can add the second layer of watercolor to your background. Another watercolor tip. If you want to have a highlighted area, simply leave that area uncolored. And here it is. Wait until your painting is completely dried and then you can start coloring over with colored pencils. So this was it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it and learned some new things. If you are new to watercolor, give these techniques a try and find your favorite one or combine them. Let me know in the comments your thoughts about this tutorial. Also tell me what subjects are you interested in when it comes to coloring, so that I could maybe help you with those. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. Also, check out my Instagram and Pinterest for more colorings and my Etsy shop for lovely coloring pages. See you next time. Until then, happy coloring!